Good morning, everyone. This is Lost and Floss, a channel primarily about cross-stitch and sometimes another craft or some fluff thrown in as well. So my name is Barb and this is video 92 or 93. I think it's 93. And today is Thursday, September 21st, 2023. It's fall here in Wisconsin, although we still are having summer temps. And you can tell, though, days are getting shorter, mornings darker, nights darker. It's closing in on us. We still have more like summer temps in the 80s, so time to get out and tidy up things in the yard a bit. Let's see, what else? We took a trip out east to New England, and so I'll talk about that at the end. And the other thing I wanted to mention is last video I had talked about that maybe I'd do a giveaway, and so I think I'll put those things at the end. And so if you don't want to see what I've been working on, just go right to the end. I know people like to see pictures of my excursions, so I'll put some of those at the end as well. Celebrated a big birthday a couple days ago while on vacation. It was a rainy, dreary day, but we made the best of it. And have been doing some stitching, not a crazy amount because gone on vacation, but I'll show you the prairie schoolers that I started while we were traveling and the significance of what they meant to me. So anyways, let's kick it off with one that I finally have gotten back out. And this is Stacy Nash Primitives Wonderful Life Pin Keep Drum. This is my working copy. And I bought my own copy so I could return it to the person who lent it to me before it was available to the public. But I'm stitching this 1/2 on a piece of 36 count Lakeside Vintage Light Exemplar with mostly the called for flosses. Now, last night, I have pretty much the house done and I'm moving on to the grass. I have a lantern that's just floating in the air. It could be a Halloween house, right? But last night I tried to find a counting error. I'm one stitch short on the top of the house, the roof line, and I counted like midstream, and finally I'm like, that is not going to matter. Oh, I think I found where I'm off. Oh my gosh. It's so obvious to me now. You can see right here. That's where I lost the stitch. I was counting here and that all lined up, and finally, and I'm just gonna leave it because I wish it was on the other side because I could just put in those couple stitches and it would be fine. But yeah, it's not going to matter whatsoever to the design. So I'm not going to waste any more time on the little, what is that? The widows? Are those widows walks? Or when the sea captains were out and about? I should after our travels up to the Northeast, I should know that, but I don't. Widow's Walk, I think it is. So, I've done bits and pieces on other charts, and this one is I'll tell you the official name of it. It's by Pinker and Pumpkin Quilting. She posts them online. She has free charts, which is amazing. And this one is called A Vintage Christmas, a Cup of Christmas Cheer Santa Mug. And I'm moving in on getting this finished. I still don't know. I probably am going to have to do something with the white. But just a lot of fill work, and need to find some floss for his rosy cheeks. So I'd like to get that wrapped up relatively soon. And so I had one where I started it and then the colors weren't showing up at all. And so I restarted it on a new piece of fabric, and hopefully I'll like this better. This is a chart from Samplers Not Forgotten, and it's called With Needle and Thread. And I decided to stitch this on a piece of antique lace 40 count by number 12 Stitch Company. And it's a very little start, but once I get like even a tiny little bit started, I feel better. So there's my vase going in again. And this is really a pretty color. I want to consult with my consulting team in my stitch group to see if I should rather go to a white rather than these colors. It still looks a little washed out, but that's to be determined at a later date. And then our lasting friendship. This was our group stitch. It's for some of us in our stitch group. And I showed this last time, but I'll get a bigger board. I'm going back in and putting some of the reds and rosier colors in, so it's not quite so monochromatic. So, and then our rotation ended, so I need to finish the rest of it as well. But I think it just, with the reds, that red coming in, it just punches it up a little bit and makes it a little bit more vibrant, which is awesome. And I was so glad I decorated for fall before we left on our trip. I really didn't, it was like one of those last minute things where you haul everything out, and I wasn't going to, but then I thought, well, if we get back on the 19th, late at night, September's almost over with, and I would not be happy to not have my fall stuff up when I came back. So I decided to do that, and I'll put, when I posted my pictures on Instagram of when I just got all my fall stitching out, there were a couple of people who asked if I could show them in my next video. So I'll maybe go around and show glimpses. This is Plum Street Samplers, this Happy Morning. It's the vintage version. And I'm stitching this on 36 count. I bought it as a kit from Country Sampler in Spring Green, Wisconsin. And I've got the barn, or no, the house. Let's see, what did we call it? The house modified from a barn or something like that. Got that done. I can hardly see behind this. And also started on the urn. The urn's almost done. So I need to get back to that. And let's not bring up the stocking because I haven't touched it. Oh yeah, it's going to be another one of those. I just need to get going on it a little bit more intensely, and then I'll get in the groove. Needlework by Kathy Barrick. I love this one. I'm stitching it on 40 count vintage mocha, vintage country mocha. I'm using some silks. The gold I bought special for this. I wanted it to look just like the picture. And then I think the black is Belle Swan. So, is that better? I'm like, I can't see, so I hope I'm getting this up there. So it's really getting close to, I have some of the border in already. So it's much tinier than I thought it was going to be. I don't know, sometimes you think of things and you think they're going to be ginormous and then they're not. Oh. What's this one? Oh, I forgot I was working on this one. It's Christmas in My Heart, 1843. Another Sampler's Not Forgotten. I also bought this at Country Sampler. And I think I almost am done with my roof. Or maybe I am done with my roof. So now it's on to that house. I think, did I buy this as a kit? I can't remember. Yeah, I think I did. And so I'm really not sure what, oh here. Linen, I'm stitching this on 36 count baked clay. So, moving along on that one. I've kind of made peace with 40 count now, as long as it's not too dark a fabric. Joyeux Noël, Artful Offerings. And I'm stitching this on 36 count pie crust, SPP. I don't know. But it's moving along, and I hope to have this done for Christmas this year. I shouldn't be using the long board because at least when I use the shirt, when I can see around it. I just love the grungy earthiness of this one. I think it's really pretty. And then, let's see. My Leanne's Legacy piece. This is year 4, I believe. I'm doing Blackbird Designs, Spell of the Moon. It's really cute. And I'll just I always think I'm organized, and then I'm still flailing around for things. But getting there. I really want to get this done before like October so I can put it out this year. And as you can see, I don't have a lot of room around it. I accidentally stitched the tree trunk 2/2 because this is 30 count vintage Sahara, and I wanted to stitch 1/2 to give it more of a vintagey look, but I made a mistake. But I'm probably just gonna leave that. I thought I'll get the rest of it finished and then see where we're at. Okay, so this year I decided, and I've been somewhat successful, not totally. When I travel somewhere other than the cabin, I've decided to start a new Santa. So I have this big piece of fabric which is getting smaller, and Lori, textilist, gifted me this cute little book, so that's where I'm keeping track of when I start and stop these guys. Well, I'll show you in the order that they're on the thing here. I've been working on 2023 Santa, Snowy Night, and I've made some good progress on him. Once again, for those new to the channel, I'm stitching these 1/2 on, I think it's 24 count vintage country mocha. So have a good start on him. I think, you know, once you get the main body done, then the fill-in isn't so bad at all. So I know I will get him done this year. And it all worked out in the end, but Hurricane Lee and the tropical storms was just hanging over our head. Like 2 weeks out, it was supposed to be great weather the whole time we were out there, and then all of a sudden we started hearing about this hurricane and, you know, thinking how it was going to impact our trip. And I mean, we were just thinking water, water all the time. In the end, the main thing that happened was we got a day of rain when we were driving up from Boston. And so we couldn't really do the sea route as well as we wanted to. And then our Airbnb place we were going to stay, the motel, lost power in the storm. And so we had to find somewhere else to stay. And in the end, it was maybe a good thing because the place we stayed at was much nicer and on the water, and that was a nice treat. But anyway, so I thought it was appropriate to do, let's see, this is 1998 Santa, the one with the ark, because there were times where we felt like we were going to need an ark. So I just got a tiny little start on him. But he is started. That's his hood and going into his cape. And then this was a no-brainer. This 2002 Santa, early American, the hat, the drum, everything about this guy screamed Boston. And so I got a tiny little start on him. Got his head. My new way of doing them is doing the top part and their faces first, because they just seem to have so much more character when they have their face on. And then the one I'm almost done with, I think I started this guy in Chicago. I don't really remember. I could look in my book, but you don't really care. 2010 Santa. He's the skiing one. And I am almost done with him. So hopefully by next episode, he'll be in the done pot. Alrighty. These are the shelves on the side of my fireplace. And I usually just take my everyday stuff and shove some fall leaves and garland and stuff in and intersperse the other things. As far as the cross stitch, this is Bent Creek Gobble. These are quick stitches, so if you're a beginning stitcher, perfect for that. This little girl, I think I got it at the Hobbs. When my granddaughter was little, she used to always wear pigtails, so I thought that's gotta have that scarecrow. And then this one is Scarlet House Autumn Alphabet. And I just painted the pumpkin and affixed the stitching right to it. Well, not right to it. It's wrapped around mat board. And this little scarecrow I made back during my crafting days. Oh, there's a baseball. And then down on this shelf, this is the other Bent Creek Harvest. Little scarecrow I made. And then this wooden pumpkin, I painted the leaves and then I did some embroidery going around them. It didn't quite turn out like what I wanted, but when I haul it out now, I like it. And then I've probably mentioned this before. This was my great grandma's bowl that she made her dumplings in, according to my dad. And so I usually keep it filled with pine cones, but then during the season, I'll just throw in some leaves and other various fall-y things. And then this is just a garland. Oh, sorry. Oops. Stepping on my stitch bag. This is just how I have the fireplace decked out with a garland. I can see this one's falling. I just take these little pics and you don't even have to wear them in or anything. They do, like if somebody hits them, they do pop out, but it just gives it a lot of color. And then by the fireplace, I always just stick this sign. Oh, you can see, look at my mess back there. This one is Little House Needleworks, pumpkins for sale, minus the mouse. I didn't want the mouse because at the time I was having an issue with a mouse. Well, it was at my parents' house and it got into my mom's box of DMC and it was not pleasant. So in the end, I threw away the DMC, as most logical people would do. And then this is the other side. I don't really do down there too much because the TV blocks it anyways. But just fallish and festive. Here, I don't know what the name of the chart actually is, but it's by Blue Ribbon Designs, and she has a series of these like alphabets with little seasonal things. It was one of the first pieces I finished, and I feel like I could straighten it out, but when it's only up for a couple months, I say, why bother? And then, of course, this isn't, I mean, I leave this up all the time, but it really is fallish to me. Plum Street Samplers, Friends of the Heart. This was stitched by Leanne, and I put it in this frame. I still need to straighten it out a little bit, but you know, it's one of those things that you always think, oh yeah, I'll do that, and it doesn't happen. And here's a shot of the fireplace. And now my stitching lamp is in the way, but left side and right side. Here's the shelf where I make my cording on the little hooks. Works great. I don't know if I'll be able to identify all these, but I think I know the designers at least. This first one is a prairie schooler. There's 4 seasons, and this is the fall one. And the little blackbird Leanne gave me for my birthday one year, with a little shelf-sitting scarecrow I made. And this was a blackbird design piece that she had started, and I finished up, and I aged it and made it into this little kind of a standing pouch. Just stick some artificial fall stuff in it. This is another blackbird design. I think it's October something, but I could be wrong. Sorry about that. And Scarlet House, Pumpkins and Bittersweet. I think this is Scarlet House as well. Can't remember the name of that one. And this one's, I believe, Penny Pumpkin by Scarlet House. Gotta love a white pumpkin. And then this is another blackbird design. I believe it's called Midnight Run. I did switch up the colors just a little bit. And I found this, it's like a paper mache box that already had the black and orange polka dots, so it was perfect for that. I had to build the top up a little bit. There's my table topper from Anna, love it. And over here I use a cornucopia on top of a table topper Leanne had made for me. The leaf chart she stitched, I finished. The blackbird with the pumpkin is with a needle and thread. I think it's I Love Fall most of all. This is October Prairie Schooler. It's from A Year of Prairie Schooler, something like that. It has all 12 charts to it. And then this is my favorite place to decorate. It's on top of antique bookcase that I use as my china hutch, and I only really have one cross stitch piece up there. Is it Mighty Oaks? I know it's Blackbird design, and it's from the first of the books that came out like maybe 3 years ago. I'm sure it was a standalone chart, but I did that last year for Leanne's Legacy, and I just love it. And that crock is one that Leanne, when we did craft shows, used to paint crocks, and I love the fall leaves on it and the colors. Just added some garland, and this plate I just thought looks very fallish. I don't know where that is. If it's, I don't know. I'd have to look in the back. You guys are probably all screaming it. Maybe Philadelphia, I don't know. So, and then love the iridescent pumpkins. And these fall berry things. I don't even know what you'd call them. I think I bought them at a resale shop years ago. So, think it looks very festive. And then this is our Alexa table. So I always keep this little, it's 4-season thing. I think it's by the Work Basket. And it was all in one chart. But just to add a little bit of fall festiveness to the table, I put this garland around it. My sideboard. So this is Autumn Time by New York Dreamer. I might have changed it a little bit if I remember correctly. And then this is a picture of my kids when they were little. My husband always would carve pumpkins with them. So still my all-time favorite picture. And then you saw the other red pair, but here are the other two pairs from Annie B's red work pairs chart. And my pincushion from Lisa, which I just love. And then this runner was one Leanne made me for my special birthday. So, let's see, 5 years ago, I guess. And this is I think it was exclusive to Acorns and Threads. It was a kit Leanne bought when she was there, and she stitched it. And I finished it. I think it's by Little Blue, is it Little Blue Flower? I'm not sure. So, and then we go, these are really not really fall particularly, but American Farmhouse and Ink Circles After the Roses. So one of my all-time favorites. Both of those are actually. This pumpkin patch was from Cross Stitch magazine back in the 90s, I believe, and I had left it unfinished in our first videos. There's quite a bit of kidding around with this. There used to be a cat in the big tree, but I think that's why I stopped stitching on it. I didn't like how big he was compared to the rest of the design, so Leanne actually tore him out for me, and I stitched in the rest of it and then finished it. And once I had it done, I couldn't find it for like a month. So that was really a saga and kind of a funny episode when Pumpkin Patch was missing. So it's really dear to my heart, and love just the rustic finish. I used a pair of old blue jeans in the background, and I think it's really cute. And then another scarecrow I made. I bought the pumpkin oil picture for a frame, and then I decided it was too pretty. I wasn't gonna cover over it. Locks and Keys, I think it's called, or Keys, by Kitten Stitcher, Shakespeare Peddler. And then this one is Prairie Schooler. I'm thinking it's Autumn Wind, but I'm not positive on that. And I know for sure this is Cinnamon House, but I can't think of who it's by. But it is definitely Cinnamon House. Another one that I just love. And of course, you know, if there's room to stick a fake pumpkin, I'll always try to sneak one in. And on this plant stand with the lantern, I just think it adds a little bit more of a fall touch. And then going over here, this runner was stenciled by my cousin's friend, and when my cousin passed away, my aunt knew how much I loved it, and so she gifted it to me. So, you guys, I'm drawing blanks. Grandma's quilt, of course. I just finished that. That's Little House Needleworks. Pretty sure this is a blackbird. I just leave my tomato in here. And I think this is a Lizzie Kate too. It's like a basket. And then up here I just have my last of my Annie B's red work pears. They're a trio, so. And it's just kind of my overflow area. Oh, and this one is another one from a prairie year. This is September with my own colors. Love that. And then this, I found this like, I don't know if it's supposed to be a vase or what it is, but I thought it'd be perfect for a finish. And, I think this is a pumpkin from the piece on top of the china cabinet. So it's a Prairie Schooler pumpkin that I then added some curly cues, more curly cues and leaves too, and also the little yellow blossoms. And the lace was from my vintage stash, so I thought that was cute to pick up the little yellow dots that are on top. Trying to get this video finished up. Lots of interruptions yesterday, as you can see. New day, new clothes, glasses, not contacts, blah blah blah. But anyways, so I have a couple charts here. Some I recently stitched that I would like to give away. So please be 18, be a subscriber. What other things? Like the video, that's always great. And good luck. Like to send this to someone. So JBW Designs French Country Flower Basket. If you would like this, please say flower. Then we have Farmhouse Christmas by Little House Needleworks, Grandma's Quilt. And for this one, please say quilt. Then we have Shannon Christine Designs Truck Snow Globe. This would be a really cute one for Christmas. For this one, please say truck. And then Blackwater Blooms Needle Made Designs. I love this one, but you reach a point where you know you only have so many years of stitching left and you can't do it all. So if you would like this one, please use the word blooms. And then the final one, I hemmed and hawed on this one too, is the trilogy Snowy Night. And just use the word snowy. So just to repeat, that's more of them than I thought. Flower, quilt, blooms, truck, and snow. So I did my best to add the names of all the charts and the designer for all the fall stitches that I displayed that I was unsure of. So please, if there's one that you think you might want to stitch yourself, look up if I start saying I'm not sure, because as best as I could, I did add those as text within the video. So there's a whole lot of goodness there. I was crazy fall stitching for the first couple of years. I was back into it, and now this year I took a little lull, but I know that I'm gonna get back in once I get some of my other things done. Boston's been on my wish list. I think I remember sending for, back in the day, college catalogs, like checking this book out from the library, and you had a mail-in request to them. And there were, some schools that I remembered like looking at and thinking, oh, that'd be such a cool place to go to school. That didn't happen, but yeah, so I've always wanted to go, and this year my husband had a flight credit, and I'm like, let's just go before, it's after the school rush, and before the people who are going for the colors and their expensive hotel prices to go with it get jacked up. So we just did a first night was at an Airbnb because we got in, I don't know, close to 9 o'clock, and I'm like, I'm not paying a lot of money for a hotel for a night that all we're going to do is sleep. And so we went there, just took the T, I guess is the proper term, and stayed there one night, then hopped back on and went to our hotel and had them hold our bags. And then we just started walking around. I think that was the day we had like over 21,000 steps on, and that was in the rain. So, yeah, we just got to see a lot of the city just by walking and happening upon things. And had planned on doing the hop on, hop off tour, but then when I looked at it the next day, we had already been a lot of the places that we would have gone. So just a great city filled with so much history, and it was really a wonderful experience, and the people were so nice. We did a North End, which is the Italian end, I guess, food tour, so that was a lot of fun, and just the amount of food we consumed was unbelievable. But yeah, it was great. And then did Fenway Park tour, which was fun. I had been a big fan when I was a kid of Tony Conigliaro, Boston Red Sox. So that was, it's such a historical place. So that was really great to see. And then we rented a car from there and drove up to Bar Harbor, Bahaba. And we're trying to avoid the hurricane, which made it really interesting. Like, we were always constantly watching the weather. And then the day before we were supposed to check in and drive up there, found out that our motel had no power. And we're like, well, by then we knew the storm wasn't going to amount to, life or death. And so we decided we would just drive up because the next day was supposed to be nice. So when we got up to Maine, our hotel was still without power. And so we were able to get a credit and then found something really close. But the upside was much nicer and it was right on the water. So it was so fun. Like, the first night was still kind of stormy, watching the waves and the boats out there bouncing around. But then the next morning, I set my alarm early so that we could get up and watch the sunrise from our balcony. And that was really stupendous, really, really pretty. And then we went up into the park, and I had app that just told you about some of the sites, and we followed along with it and did a loop around and saw some amazing sites. Just really a beautiful area. 2 places off my bucket list. I feel like it's getting to the point in my life where I remember going to a retirement seminar years ago. when I was working, and the guy said, yeah, there's 3 phases: go, slow go, and no go. So I feel like we're still kind of go, maybe inching towards slow go, but yeah, so I just need to do some of these things. Well, you're able to. So we went to the top of the Mount Cadillac, and spectacular panoramic views up there, and just had a really enjoyable day in the park. I mean, we ended up just with one day, but I felt like we made the most of it. And then we went into town and had a nice dinner, nothing fancy, but casual dinner, and walked along the beach walk a little bit. We were hoping to see a sunset, but then the clouds moved in at the last minute, so that took care of that idea. And then the next morning we got up and it was raining again, and so our initial plan was just to hit the road and start going south. And so we drove along the ocean and stopped in a couple small little towns, beach towns, or port towns, I guess they would be, and just, looked around and had lunch somewhere. I think that was my birthday. Yeah, it was. And it rained the whole day. And so then we found a hotel. It was nothing exciting, but good price, and it was kind of in the vicinity of where we needed to be the next day. So it was to the point, though, since we had gone out for lunch, it's like, it's raining, we're tired. I think, once we got in about 4 or 5 o'clock, we just didn't do anything. So kind of lazy that day. And then the next day we got up. That was the day we were flying back, and we had to have our car to the airport by 4 o'clock, I think. But did a quick tour of Portland, and went out to a lighthouse and just looked around, had lunch at a great place, and then we made our way to the airport, where we sat for hours. My husband was a little nervous about making sure we got the car or the van back in time. It was pretty funny when we rented our car. We went like maybe half an hour early, and she's like, well, it's before your reservation time, so the only thing we have is either a van or a full-size truck. And my husband's like, well, what if we wait till our time? And she goes, well, actually, that's all we have available for the day. So it's like, I guess we'll take the van. We thought that would be a little bit easier to park, which was fine, and used to driving my daughter's van. So we had lots of time at the airport, and it's just, like you're sitting there for a couple hours. I was doing a little stitching on my Prairie Schooler Santas, and listening to strangers meet and start to converse, it's rather funny, because it's like these two women, were trying to up each other on, oh, well, we went here, and oh, well, we saw that, but we also saw this. It's like, I almost started giggling. It could have been a Saturday Night Live skit. I always say that about things that strike my funny bone. So, but good to be back home, and, now trying to get a few of our projects done. And, I thought I would just, based on the number of likes my fall photo stitching got on Instagram, I thought I better just take the time and do this now so that I have it out of the way. So, 2 videos in 1 month is kind of crazy for me, but who knows when you'll see me again. So anyways, thank you so much for watching, and as always, I appreciate you taking the time to see what I've been up to, and hope you're all doing well, and please continue to fill the world with love. See you next time.